The prince is searching the entire kingdom for the girl who dropped the glass slipper. My stepsister stole my slipper and lied, saying she was the one who danced with the prince last night. She didn't know the prince had killed someone that night, and I'm the only witness. Sister, please give me back my slipper. I clung to eldest sister Anna's leg, begging pitifully. Anna yanked my hair, spat right in my face. You filthy bastard! You dare dream of the noble prince? Get back to the wine cellar. That's where you belong. Stepmother and second sister each grabbed one arm and shoved me down into the cellar. I struggled, trying to lunge forward and snatch the glass slipper. Can't take it outside. Really can't take it outside. A few days ago, I transmigrated into a buggy version of the Cinderella fairy tale, became Cinderella. At first, I thought, how broken can a fairy tale world of truth, goodness, and beauty even get? Until I personally witnessed the prince use his sword to rip open the prime minister's belly. After killing the man, he calmly stood there, used the sword to lift up a segment of the prime minister's intestines, held it under the moonlight to admire. Ha ha! So beautiful! The bright red intestine, blood dripping drop by drop onto the ground, a terrifying red gleam in the prince's eyes. I hid in the bushes, covering my mouth tight, whole body shaking non-stop from fear. Maybe I shook too violently. The prince suddenly turned his head toward me, eyes sharp as an eagle. Someone there? Get the fuck out of here. I sucked in a cold breath, lifted my skirt, turned and ran. The prince grabbed his sword and chased behind. The palace was extremely majestic, crystal chandeliers hanging on both sides of the pillars, illuminating everything clearly. The prince laughed softly behind me. Oh, so it's the beauty who danced with me tonight. Voice cold as ice. I turned back to look, saw the prince's ferocious face, his sword still dripping blood, a long trail of blood stretching across the floor. I was scared out of my wits, used every ounce of strength in my life to run for my life. But the jade staircase in front of the palace gate was too long. No matter how careful I was, I still dropped one glass slipper. I knew he would never let me go. Sure enough, the next day, the Prime Minister's death notice spread across the country. The king was furious, ordered the guards to catch the real murderer. Along with the death notice sent everywhere, there was also news that the prince was searching for his love. The prince had fallen madly in love with a beautiful girl at first sight at the ball, declared that whoever could fit the glass slipper the girl dropped would become the future princess. Women across the kingdom went insane. Eldest and second sister started putting on makeup from early morning, soaking their feet in milk, praying this glorious luck would fall on them. Until eldest sister came to my room looking for jewelry and accidentally found the remaining glass slipper. You lowly bastard! You dared hide from us and go to the ball? You want men that bad? Tomorrow we'll marry you off to some coachman. Stepmother grabbed my hair, slapped me several hard times. Eldest sister hugged the glass slipper to her chest, kicked me hard in the stomach. The cellar door opened, I fell down. Eldest sister giggled. Wanna be princess? Look at yourself first. Be good down there, make a sound, and you're fucking dead. Bang! The cellar door was locked. I pounded hard on the door above my head, face full of despair. Fuck, once the slipper goes outside, the prince will definitely know I'm here. He'll kill me. Not long after, stepmother's fawning voice came from above. Oh my God, Sir Roder, why did you come in person? No need to try others. This slipper belongs to our Anna. Anna, show Sir Roder the other slipper. Roder's face was ice cold, holding a top-grade swan velvet cushion with the sparkling glass slipper on it. Everyone has to try. Oh, it really forms a pair. Noble young lady, please come with me to the palace so His Highness can see for himself. The other maids and guards cheered congratulations. Anna happily hugged second sister and spun around. Soon, the chaotic footsteps gradually disappeared. Silence returned above.
I sat down hard on the floor, face full of despair. Eldest sister's feet are bigger than mine.
Once they reach the palace and the prince finds out she can't fit the slipper, he'll come straight here. I have to escape before that. But the cellar was locked. No windows anywhere. I basically couldn't get out. There were lots of tools in the cellar. I found a hammer and pounded the wall for a while. After a full hour, I only managed to chip off a thin layer. I was drenched in sweat, angrily smashed the hammer into the wall twice more than threw it down. A rat in the corner got startled, squeaked, and ran elsewhere. Looking at the rat, my eyes lit up. A sudden idea popped into my head. In my memory, Cinderella was always abused by her stepmother and forced to do chores. Whenever the housework was too heavy, she would sing. Then lots of doves and little sparrows would come help her. This is the innate skill of Disney princesses. Now I've become Cinderella too. So do I have this skill? I cleared my throat. No reaction. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Keep singing. Kept singing over and over for half an hour. Sang until my throat was dry. I still didn't give up. Finally, that rat poked its head out from the corner again. I happily squatted down and stared at it. You came to help me, right? The rat squeaked, squeak. Limbs twitched and collapsed dead. I hugged my knees, sitting on the ground, not knowing what to do, when chaotic footsteps and stepmother's shrill voice rang out above again. Oh my God, Your Highness the Prince, you came in person. Oh my God. I looked up through the cracks in the wooden floor. The prince was still holding the same sword from that night. He smiled and signaled the guards to press eldest sister into a chair. Beautiful Anna, is this warm, gentle voice, quick storytelling, concise voice. Glass slipper yours? Eldest sister blushed, shyly nodded. The guard tried to put the slipper on eldest sister's foot, but her foot was too wide. Couldn't get it in at all. Eldest sister panicked. I'm a bit swollen today. Is that so? But only the real owner can become my princess. The prince said coldly. Eldest sister heard this, desperately tried to force her foot in, blood oozing from the pressure. The prince gave a cold laugh, raised the sword in his hand. Let me help you. The prince swung down, chopped off half her foot. Eldest sister let out a blood-curdling scream, hugged her leg, and rolled on the floor. Everyone was horrified, but the prince acted like nothing happened, calmly turned to second sister. Beauty, is this glass slipper yours? Second sister's face was deathly pale, but unable to suppress the desire to become princess, still gritted her teeth and nodded. Warm, gentle voice, quick storytelling, concise voice. This time the prince chopped off her heel. Blood sprayed everywhere, dripping down through the floor cracks. I looked around in fear, couldn't find anywhere to hide, anxiously spun in circles. Stepmother screamed and rushed to hug her 2 daughters. The prince placed his sword on her neck. Any other daughters in this house? Stepmother's lips trembled. No, none. Even with such heavy injuries, both sisters still gritted their teeth and insisted there was no one else in the house. The determination of these 3 to keep me from becoming princess was truly unimaginable. Thank you. What about the young maid? None either? Stepmother kept shaking her head. The prince laughed loudly, sat down on the chair, used a white silk handkerchief to wipe his sword clean. This is really interesting. The prince waved his hand. The guards spread out, searched the entire house. Soon, Rada ran to the prince's side. Your Highness, the wine cellar is locked. The prince looked at stepmother. This is your last chance to live. Open the door. The prince's eyes were sharp, his jaw clenched, showing his patience had reached its limit. Seeing stepmother still frozen, Rodder drew his sword. Killer, you guys break the door. Only then did stepmother react, screamed, crawled rolling to the cellar hatch. I'll open it, sob sob, I'll open it, don't kill me. The sound of keys clanging against chains rang out. The cellar door was yanked open hard.
A beam of light slanted into the cellar. In the dusty pillar of light, the prince stood in front of me, smiling sinisterly. "Huh, found you." The next second, the prince's smile froze on his face. I was covered in filth, crossed eyes,
Grinning like an idiot, and asked him, "Hey, buddy, who you looking for?" The prince disgustedly stepped back a long step. "Who are you?" "I'm Cindy." "The maid? You're so handsome." I reached out, wanting to touch the prince's face. The prince frowned, slapped my hand away. "Someone, bring her up." 2 guards jumped down into the cellar, dragged me up. Lucky stepmother abused me. I was wearing patched rags, hair full of straw, several red handprints still on my face. Really fit the maid image perfectly. Sir Roder looked openly disappointed. "Your Highness, this girl definitely isn't." I had just sighed in relief when I heard the prince coldly order, "Put the slipper on her." Fuck, he still suspects me. Where did basic trust between people go? I was pressed into the chair by several guards.
Sir Roder knelt on one knee, lifted the glass slipper. As soon as he lifted my long skirt, Sir Roder turned his face away, expression of disgust. My feet were pitch black, covered in dirt and grass, 5 toes splayed wide like a sea monster. The prince gave a cold laugh. "What's wrong with your feet?" I smiled flatteringly. "My feet are deformed. Been with this since I was little." "Is that so?" The prince paused a moment, suddenly reached out and pinched my calf hard. I screamed. From the pain, my toes instinctively curled. The prince sneered. "Look, all better now. Thank you, I'm so kind." I wanted to cry, but couldn't. Watched helplessly as Roder shoved my foot into the glass slipper. Of course, it fit perfectly. Not too big, not too small, not too long, not too short. The glass slipper wrapped around my filthy black foot like it was custom made for me. Roder awkwardly glanced at the prince. "Your Highness,
Are you sure this girl is the one you're looking for?"
The 2 sisters who were originally rolling on the floor hugging their legs saw this and quickly crawled over. In unison, "It must be a mistake. She never left the house last night." Stepmother also nodded along. "Yes, this is just our maid. Last night I locked her in the cellar. She absolutely didn't attend the ball. Your Highness, she absolutely cannot be the girl you're looking for." The prince stared at stepmother for a while, curved his lips into a smile. "Liars have to swallow 1,000 needles. Router, bring the needle box." What kind of psycho carries big boxes of needles on him? Watching Router stuff finger-length silver needles into stepmother's mouth, my legs went soft from fear. Amid the blood-curdling screams of the 3, I was escorted onto the carriage by the guards. Warm, gentle voice, quick storytelling, concise voice. The wheels rolled, 2 guards glaring at me the whole time. I basically had no chance to escape. Soon the majestic palace appeared before my eyes. "My beloved Henry, have you found the girl you love?" The queen enthusiastically came out to greet, saw my filthy appearance and froze, a flash of horror in her eyes. "Who is this person? Take her to get cleaned up." The prince acted like he didn't see the queen, gave orders to the people beside him himself. The queen circled around the prince, asking if he was tired from the road, nagging a long string. The prince coldly brushed her off, turned and ordered Roder to clean her up thoroughly, then bring her to me. This prince is really weird. Only after the maze led me deeper into the palace did I realize not only the prince was weird, the whole palace radiated an eeriness everywhere. Last night I only went to the luxurious ballroom. Today, walking deeper in, I saw on the towering walls vines crawling everywhere. On the colorful stained glass windows, there were spiderweb-like cracks. Clearly, many maids were busy cleaning, but the entire palace still gave off an old, decayed feeling. The maids finished bathing me and changing my clothes, then took me to the prince's chambers. They hesitated at the door, not daring to enter. An older maid handed me a key. "Room 6 on the left is yours. You are not allowed to go anywhere else." I looked up at the long, narrow, endless corridor. Both sides had countless rooms, every door locked tight. On the corridor ceiling were painted colorful frescoes, gorgeous crystal chandeliers hanging overhead. I took the key, was about to ask more when a maid suddenly pushed me. I stumbled into the corridor, turned back confused. All the maids showed expressions like a huge weight was lifted, their bodies half hidden in darkness, smiles both relieved and carrying some fear and expectation. The heavy wooden door slowly closed, blocking their smiles outside. I rushed forward, banging on the door. "What are you doing? Let me out!" But no matter how hard I banged, not another sound came from outside. I stood alone in the endless corridor, the crystal chandelier above cutting my shadow into pieces, the whole corridor filled with weird black shadows from every angle. Goosebumps all over. I gripped the key tight and walked to room 6 on the left. Click. The key turned. I pushed the door open. The terror in my heart disappeared. This was a luxurious bedroom. The whole room was covered in expensive Persian carpet. Against the wall was a magnificent, huge bed. Opposite the door were several warm, gentle voice, quick storytelling, concise voice. Narrow windows. The windows also had long, narrow stained glass, even leaning sideways you couldn't squeeze out. But it wasn't dark yet. Golden sunlight shone through the glass windows, making the bedroom feel a bit warmer. I stood by the window in a daze. Suddenly, low footsteps came from outside the door. My heart jumped. The prince is here. I quickly looked around, rushed to the bed, lifted the long floor-length bed curtain, planning to crawl under. Under the bed, a pair of green eyes were glowing, staring straight at me. "Ah!" I screamed in terror, kept backing away. At the same time, a glossy black cat jumped out from under the bed, arched its back, and hissed at me. I backed up several steps. My back hit a hard body. The prince held my shoulders with one hand, waved to the black cat with the other. "Black Fang, come here." The black cat jumped onto my shoulder, its green eyes flashing with strange ferocity. The prince bent down, warm breath blowing on my neck, making my hair stand on end. "You saw everything that night, didn't you?" I pretended to be confused. "Saw what?" The prince narrowed his eyes, watching me. "Why did you run last night?" I pretended to be shy, turned my head, not daring to look at him. "My stepmother checks my room every night before midnight, locks the door. If she found out I wasn't home, I'd be dead for sure. Your Highness, please let me go back. My eldest sister said if I dared admit I was the one who danced with you last night, she would definitely kill me." "Afraid of her that much?" The prince gripped my shoulders tighter, deep eyes staring at me full of meaning. "Don't worry. Once you're my princess, you won't have to fear anyone." "Princess?" Stared wide-eyed in shock. What does that mean? Just believe me like that? Not kill me and even want to marry me? Or use this excuse to imprison me in the palace? Rest well. The wedding will be held 1 month later. The prince patted my shoulder, took the black cat, and left. Watching the door close, I breathed a sigh of relief, lay down on the bed, suddenly felt something sticky on my back. Didn't know what I got on me. I turned to look at the sheets and gorgeous Persian carpet. There were several bright red cat paw prints. Sticky liquid like spilled fruit jam. No idea where the cat got it from. Tossed and turned all night. I barely slept. Next day, the maids acted like nothing happened, helped me wash and do my hair, then led me to the garden for breakfast. The queen was sitting under thick wisteria waiting. "You're Cindy, right? I heard Henry proposed successfully last night. Congratulations." The queen winked playfully and planned the wedding details with me. What flowers, what colored drapes for the banquet hall, what main dishes, which guests to invite. Oh, these little things give me such a headache. I'm not good at this stuff. Just leave it to the Prime Minister. I froze. Isn't the Prime Minister already dead? The queen, holding her teacup, paused, face confused. Dead? How could the Prime Minister be dead? Always feel like someone dies, then new people keep being born, sun rises and sets. Life really just repeats. So boring, so boring. The queen suddenly went insane. First threw her head back laughing loudly, then clutched her head screaming. The maids beside her weren't surprised, came over to drag the queen away. The queen struggled violently, hands gripping the table tight, screamed at me, "Run, run fast." The white lace tablecloth was pulled to the floor, tea and cake scattered everywhere, the queen laughing and crying at the same time. "It's all fake, all fake." "Mother, you should take your medicine." The prince rushed over from afar, one hand gripping the sword at his waist, eyes cold. The queen immediately stopped struggling. "Oh right, I should take my medicine." The maids beside her also let go. The queen didn't look at me again, silently followed the maids away. "Scared? What did she say to you?" The prince intimately took my hand. I forced a smile. The queen discussed wedding details with me. "Yeah, just choose whatever you like." "Come, I'll take you horse riding." The prince took me to the outskirts, sometimes holding my hand, sometimes hugging me on the same horse. Very intimate gestures. I also played along, occasionally showing expression. Not pretending, the prince really was extremely handsome. Tall, broad shoulders, long legs, features not pure Western but more mixed, a bit like the model faces I really liked. After several happy days together, the prince's attitude toward me got much better. He allowed me to walk freely in the palace, even had the maids open all those locked doors for me to see. The rooms were filled with all kinds of precious antiques, paintings, calligraphy, decorations. I looked for a while, then kept yawning, no interest. The prince hugged my waist. "Sorry, you don't like these things?" I shook my head. "What's so pretty about this stuff? Staying in the palace is boring to death. I prefer going out horse riding." The prince rubbed my head. "Right now, the prime minister isn't here. Too much work, can't often take you out to play." "You wander the palace yourself. You can enter all these rooms, except the first one on the left." The prince seemed casual, but carefully watched my expression. I smiled, took his hand, and walked out. "I'm not interested in any room. Come on, walk in the garden with me." We sat under the wisteria for a bit. The prince suddenly got busy and left. I bowed my head, drinking tea, suddenly got hit in the back by a pebble. I turned toward the bushes, roses blooming thickly. A corner of bright yellow skirt showed on the grass. That was the color the queen often wore. I calmly put down my teacup. "I'm hungry. Can someone go to the kitchen, get me a piece of freshly baked cake? Oh right, and a cup of coffee too. I don't like black tea." Sent two maids away. I casually threw the spoon in my hand toward the bushes and then walked to the side and squatted, pretending to pick up the spoon. A pale hand stretched out from the grass, palm open. Silently lying there was an old-fashioned key. The queen whispered, "The first room on the left, all the truth and secrets are there." I took the key. The queen took the chance to grab my hand, long nails digging hard into the back of my hand. "Don't trust Henry, don't love him." The bushes taller than a person hid the queen's figure. I was about to speak when hurried footsteps and maids' panicked voices suddenly came from the other side. "Queen, why did you run here? Come back with us quick." If the prince sees, he'll get angry again. Come on. One maid dragged the queen away. The other two stayed in place, probably thinking no one was around, so whispered, "The queen's illness is getting worse." Yeah, last time she suddenly went mad in front of so many noble guests and stabbed the prime warm, gentle voice. Quick storytelling, concise voice. Minister with a knife. If the prince hadn't taken the prime minister away, who knows what would have happened? The prime minister is so pitiful, so nice. Luckily, the wound wasn't deep. Haven't seen the prime minister in a while, probably scared the queen's illness will flare up again, so doesn't dare enter the palace. The more I listened, the more confused I got. Wasn't the prime minister already dead? I saw with my own eyes the prince kill him. The king even issued a death notice. How come in these maids' mouths the prime minister is fine? The maids talked while walking away. I sat frozen on the chair. Everything felt foggy. Didn't know who to believe. I clenched the key in my hand. Fuck it. Just go to the room the queen mentioned and see what her so-called truth really is. Night fell. I closed my eyes lying on the bed. The maid carefully tucked me in, then turned and left. After she left, I quietly flipped off the bed, stood by the window looking outside for a long time. The colored glass reflected flickering candlelight. Torches in each palace went out one by one. The entire palace sunk into darkness. Time's up. I picked up an oil lamp, walked barefoot through the long corridor. Before opening that room's door, I had mentally prepared for a long time. With how terrifying the prince is, even if I saw a corpse, I wouldn't be too shocked. But the scene before my eyes really exceeded my imagination, made my scalp numb, couldn't breathe. Both my hands shook violently, almost couldn't hold the oil lamp. The room was full of me, or rather, full of Cinderellas. Me in gorgeous ball gowns, me in riding outfits, me in maid uniforms. Countless versions of me packed dense, corpses hanging by their legs from the ceiling like rows of neatly arranged smoked meat. Warm, gentle voice, quick storytelling, concise voice. These corpses seemed specially preserved, hanging in the room, looked unusually tall, arms and legs a bit longer than mine. I walked close to one corpse. She stared wide-eyed, long curled lashes, high nose bridge, skin still pink and elastic, like she was still alive. I tremblingly reached out, stroked her cheek. Suddenly a shrill cat meow came from outside the door. "Blackfang, don't run around. The prince. It's the prince coming." I panicked, blew out the oil lamp, fumbled around the room. Except for the ropes hanging from the ceiling, all four walls were bare, nowhere to hide. I stuffed the oil lamp into one corpse's skirt, then went under an empty rope, looped it around my neck, stood on tiptoe like the other corpses. Just finished when the prince pushed the door and walked in. I was panting hard, heart pounding. The prince turned on the crystal chandelier above. Blinding light flooded in. I instinctively closed my eyes. "Blackfang, what's wrong with you today?" The prince held the black cat in his arms. The cat arched its back, fur standing on end, kept growling ferociously at me. The prince stroked its back. "Want another piece for the collection? Be good. Be patient a little longer." The prince carried the black cat walking back and forth among the rows of corpses, occasionally stopping to admire his trophies. What exactly are women thinking? True love? Why are they always so ridiculous? Look at number 16, Blackfang. Remember what she said before she died? She asked if I ever truly loved her. Truly the funniest joke I ever heard. Stupid woman. The prince threw his head back, laughing loudly. After laughing for a while, pulled that warm, gentle voice, quick storytelling, concise voice. Cinderella corpsed over, bent down and kissed her red lips. "Oh, my love, of course I loved you." The prince kissed the corpse passionately, breathing heavily. I got goosebumps all over, stomach churning. Right at that moment, a cold, mechanical voice suddenly rang out in the room. "Host, without receiving true love's kiss from Cinderella, you will forever be trapped here." I stared wide-eyed, curiously looked toward the source of the voice. The black cat curled in the prince's arms, its green eyes staring at me strangely. Why did it feel like that voice just now came from it? The prince suddenly stopped, slammed his own head hard. "Shut up! What system? What true love mission? I don't want to listen. So what if I'm trapped here forever? I love this game. I am the master of this world." "Everyone has to serve me. Get out of my head." The prince went insane, muttering to himself while banging his head against the corpses, after a while hugging them again. I listened for a long time. A bold guess formed in my heart. The prince is also a transmigrator, and he's bound by a system. He has to truly love Cinderella to count as completing this fairy tale world mission. But unexpectedly, this prince is a pervert. He already killed the first Cinderella. The world didn't collapse. Instead, it refreshed a new Cinderella. This is exactly what the queen said about always feeling someone dies, then new people are born. Except for the prince, everyone else is an NPC. Once dead, they keep getting refreshed until a new Cinderella appears to complete the mission with the prince. That's why the prime minister died, but the queen still thinks he's alive. Those maids also think the Prime Minister's still around, but one thing doesn't make sense. Why isn't the Prime Minister refreshed? I stood on tiptoe, legs getting more and more tired, muscles all over my body starting to shake uncontrollably from exhaustion. The prince was still going crazy beside me. The black cat suddenly broke free from his arms, let out a shrill meow and charged straight at me. Meow! The black cat slammed hard into my chest. I screamed, couldn't hold on anymore, fell flat on my back. The prince, hugging his head, squatting on the floor, looked at me in shock. His eyes spun, suddenly burst out laughing while standing up, drew the sword at his waist. Oh, naughty Cinderella, number 39. Just like number 19, you don't listen. What did you come here for? Want to play hide and seek with me? Huh. The prince stepped toward me. My heart beat wildly.
Limbs went limp, barely managed to back away step by step. The prince raised his sword. The crystal chandelier above suddenly went out. A black shadow rushed in from the door, knocked the prince hard to the side. Ah! Who is it? Who dares break into my palace? The shadow and the prince grappled. I lifted my skirt, rushed out the door, ran for my life. Tonight, no moon? Not even stars? Thick black clouds covered everything. I ran with all my strength. The main palace gate was wide open. A glimmer of hope flashed in my eyes. Tonight, there's actually no night guard. Makes sense. This is just a fairy tale. Besides the main characters, other settings are very vague. No such details. The prince was already chasing from behind. I lifted my skirt, running to the palace gate. The hope in my eyes turned to despair. I forgot the palace has a moat. When I entered the palace, the guards had lowered the drawbridge. I rode in a carriage across the drawbridge. I stuck my head out to look down. The river rushed below, and it was very high from the ground, at least 10 meters. Jumping from this height? And I can't swim. Absolutely no chance of survival. The prince walked slowly, playing with his long sword, looking at me mockingly. Oh, my dear Cinderella. Before he finished speaking, an arrow suddenly shot from afar, pierced straight into my shoulder. The force was extremely strong, yanked my whole body flying backward, falling into the river. The prince angrily stomped on the riverbank. Fuck! My specimen number 39? Fuck! Who did it? Really deserves to die. The icy water swallowed me. I closed my eyes, felt the life in my body gradually disappear. When I opened my eyes again, I was lying on a messy pile of straw. A bucket of water smashed onto my head. Stepmother's greedy face appeared before my eyes. Lazy this early in the morning, you cheap bitch. No food until you finish washing all these clothes. I knelt on the ground, used a cloth to wipe the shining teak wooden floor. Stepmother and two stepsisters sat at the table enjoying breakfast. Eldest sister Anna's face was full of excitement. Heard yet? Tonight, the prince is holding a ball in the palace. All unmarried girls in the city can attend, commoners or nobles. Second sister pouted unhappily. Why let those lowly commoners attend? Really tarnishing the palace. I tremblingly raised my hand. Can I go too? Oh, heavens. What did I just hear? Filthy, lowly Cinderella wants to go to the palace? You're not delusional thinking you can still dance with the prince, are you? Stepmother shouted. The two sisters heard this, threw down their breakfast, rolled up sleeve, and walked toward me. One grabbed my hair, one slapped me. You really think you're that pretty? Don't you look in the mirror, ungrateful bitch. Giving you a bite of rice is already good enough, and you still dare dream of attending the ball? The two sisters beat me up, then shoved me down into the wine cellar and locked the door. Tonight, just stay here obediently. You can treat those dirty rats as the prince. They'll dance with you. The three laughed triumphantly, arrogantly walked away. I hugged my knees, sitting in the pitch-black wine cellar, saying nothing. 11 p.m., the cellar hatch above opened. A hand reached toward me. It was a middle-aged stranger with an H-shaped mustache, small, clever eyes shining. Come out, miss." I laughed from the bottom of my heart. "Thank you, Prime Minister. That's right, I'm not dead yet." That arrow was shot by the Queen. After I fell into the water, the Prime Minister saved me downstream. That was their plan. The Prime Minister is a bug in this game. After dying, he gets refreshed, but strangely, he retains memories from the previous round. As for the Queen, she's been in this game from the very beginning. Unlike normal NPCs, she can think, can wonder why she repeats the same things every day. She has also witnessed many times the prince torturing maids and guards, throwing their bodies into the moat. This prince is too cruel. Neither she nor the Prime Minister can stand him. They plan to replace him with a different prince. Only a normal person can complete the true love mission. Only then can we truly be freed. The Prime Minister took me home. Warm, gentle voice. Quick storytelling, concise voice. Stepmother and the two sisters, like collective amnesia, started abusing me again as before. The Queen announced the ball would be held. The prince, of course, thought I had been refreshed, and tonight he would meet brand new number 40 in the palace. The Prime Minister prepared for me a gorgeous gown, an exquisite pumpkin carriage, and sparkling glass slippers. When I rolled the carriage into the ballroom, everyone's eyes turned to me. The prince was the first to invite me to dance. We embraced and spun under the crystal lights to the waltz music. The prince squeezed my waist tight, whispered in my ear, "Hello, my dear girl. Want to take a walk in the garden with me?" I shyly nodded, let the prince hold my hand and lead me toward the dark, quiet rose bushes far away. According to the plan, the Prime Minister's ambushed soldiers were already waiting there. Warm, gentle voice. Quick storytelling, concise voice. After the prince was distracted by me, he would shoot the prince dead with an arrow. But I waited and waited. Cold night wind blew through the bushes, leaves rustling, but no other sound around. The prince lifted my face. "Why are you distracted? Who are you waiting for, my dear miss?" Number 39. My shy expression froze, scalp went numb, whole body like falling into an ice pit. The prince laughed loudly. "Let me guess, waiting for the Prime Minister or the Queen?" "You're so stupid. Let me tell you a secret. Every time a character is refreshed, the system notifies me." The prince stiffly shook his head, imitating the mechanical voice. "Host, please note, the Prime Minister has been refreshed. Cinderella Cindy has been refreshed." This time, I didn't hear anything at all. Isn't it strange? The prince threw his head back, laughing triumphantly. "The Prime Minister and Queen are both dead. Tomorrow, new ones will appear." What a pity. The Queen's smile with those curved lips really looked like my real mother's. I could never bear to kill her. I also smiled, lifted my skirt, drew the hidden dagger, and stabbed straight into his throat without hesitation. "Idiot, let me tell you a secret too." I bent close to the prince's ear. "I really like playing this game." I pulled the dagger, slit the prince's throat. He made gurgling sounds in his throat, eyes staring at me full of shock. "I love most seeing your arrogant, overconfident face. Isn't this way of playing way more advanced than yours?" The prince collapsed, eyes wide open, blood flowing all over the ground. I slowly dragged his corpse from the garden back, went straight to the prince's chambers. Every maid and guard who passed bowed in terror. I took the key from my pocket, opened the first door on the left, walked in. I placed the prince's corpse on the floor, used a soft cloth to wipe his neck and face clean, then stripped his clothes off, dressed him in an oversized gorgeous gown, put a wig on him. I carefully put makeup on the prince. Everything ready. He had become me. I was very satisfied. "My beloved prince number 39, you're even cuter than the previous ones." I hung the prince on the rope, bent down and kissed his lips. The black cat lay flat at my feet, eyes looking at me full of horror. "Fuck, Why am I so unlucky? Got stuck with a psycho host like this. I glared at it, reached out and squeezed the black cat's neck, then gently stroked its back. What did you just say? Cough, cough. Report to host. Prince number 40 has been generated. I laughed loudly, hugged the black cat tight. Good. This time, what kind of story should we make up for this prince to make it more fun? Epilogue. The first day I transmigrated into Cinderella, the black cat I raised suddenly could talk. It told me it was a system. If the prince and I truly love each other, I can complete the mission and return to the original world. The prince was super handsome, and we held a grand fairy tale wedding, lived happily together. But after 2 months, I still hadn't completed the mission. Every morning I woke up still lying on that golden, luxurious bed. I was very confused until I saw the prince pulling a maid, carefully opening the first door on the left. I walked to the door. Very quickly, muffled moans of pleasure came from inside. My love, you're even more interesting than the princess. I'll make your father recount. I gripped the doorknob, frozen. The black cat perched on my shoulder anxiously licked its claws. Host, we have to think of a way to win back his heart. The door opened. The prince and the maid, hand in hand, clothes disheveled, walked out. Seeing me standing at the door, the prince was startled, but very quickly calmed down, face indifferent. Which noble doesn't have mistresses? Please return to your room. I stepped forward, drew the sword at the prince's waist, stabbed straight into his chest. Blood sprayed on my face. The maid beside screamed in terror. I laughed loudly, threw the sword down, walked over and hugged the black cat. See? If a man doesn't listen, just replace him. Very quickly, I killed prince after prince. All the people who transmigrated into the prince were ordinary people from my original world. An ordinary man nobody knew suddenly becomes prince of a country, women of the whole city for him to choose. Who could still stay faithful to one woman? The legendary true love can only stay legend. But isn't this game way more thrilling and fun than the game of finding love? The end. So if you're listening, follow Watermelon Radio before I wake up in another world and vanish again. Each like you give is a slice of watermelon that keeps the stories alive. This is a fictional horror story. It does not encourage or endorse real-life violence.